Good afternoon. If you cannot hear me, would you please tell me now?
We can hear you.
Thank you. My name is Shirikiana Garima, and on behalf of Sankofa Video Books and Cafe, I'd like to thank all of you for coming today. When we organized this press conference, we didn't know if we'd be here to announce a thumbs up or a thumbs down for the final DC Council vote for a 10-year tax abatement for Sankofa Video Books and Cafe. The DC City Council is still voting. They are having a session that started this morning and is continuing till now. We have every reason to believe that our abatement bill will pass. And I don't think that I'm premature in thanking all of you that helped to make this possible. Dominique, could you join us, please? And I want to have a press release that says publicly how grateful we are that we have a community that knows how to stand up for what it believes in, and to make sure that community takes credit for what it's done. We've had over 2,000 letters sent to DC Council. And that was in a matter of a few weeks. We had about 100 people come down to the actual hearing in the City Council chambers. We had at least 30 people that signed up to testify, all on behalf of Sankofa at the city hearing. And since that time, I hardly meet anybody who doesn't say, keep it up, you're going to get it. Don't give up. Keep it up. We're going to get it. Don't worry, we're going to get it. And I'm wondering how they know, but I'm glad that they're optimistic, because you cannot be ever certain of what's going to happen in the world of politics. But if you have a community that is steadfast, that believes there is something better for us, and that it's determined to make that happen, then that's where I put my faith. And a city council is only as good as the people that make demands of it. In our case, we did have some champions, and still do have some champions on the city council. The two people that I want to mention today are not here because they are in session. Brianne Nadeau, Ward 1 representative, actually drafted this legislation. Councilmember Kenyon McDuffie supported the legislation through his committee and pushed it through at lightning speed, given the rate that things move within City Council. McDuffie is Ward 5. So those were some courageous moves by those City Council members. And I've been told by them and other people in the City Council how impressed they are and have been by the community response. And they always say it with a smile, meaning we need more. We need more. The battle that Sankofa has waged with its community is insignificant without the next step. Sankofa is not going to be an institution without a community. We're a bookstore that sells books about people of African descent. We're not here without a community. A black church is not going to be there without a black congregation. So we are hoping that by uniting with different members of our community here, leaders, activists, community members, people who have taken on this black businesses, other black businesses, people, some of whom have taken on this challenge of defying the devastation of gentrification for years and years, that we can begin to double and triple our effort to save our communities. And I'd like to let you know who is standing with me now. Felicia Pine from The Color of Change. Dominique Molden from 1DC. Kimon Freeman from WEAC Radio. Sabia Prince from Empower DC. Professor Greg Carr, Howard University African American Studies. Al Swales from DC Black Business Task Force. And Jacqueline Jackson, PhD student at Howard University. Is there anyone here from City Council representing either of these council members? And last but not least, Ron Moten from Check It. And we are going to open it up for questions, but I just want to say that our fight's not over. Even for Sankofa, our fight's not over. If the vote takes place today in favor of the tax abatement bill, the next step is that the bill goes to the mayor's office. And the mayor has to fund it. So the little bit of money that we're asking for tax abatement for 10 years comes to about $415,000. Compared to the abatements that large corporations get in the millions and millions of dollars daily. But it's taken us almost, by the time this abatement goes into effect, if it does, it will have been about 5 years worth of work. So what business has that capacity? Who can take off from their job for that period of time to make sure that they're not strapped with this huge tax abatement? It's not possible. So another reason why we have to come together and have a united front, a push, so that businesses and communities don't have to go through this one at a time. There has to be a policy that protects black businesses and communities against the devastation of gentrification. Next year, in October rather, this year, we'll be paying again a huge tax burden. The budget for next year has already passed. So if our request goes through, we will not be taking advantage of it until 2020. So we have a whole year to go at paying a high tax rate. So I'm happy and bittersweet happiness. Let's just keep on pushing and fighting for something, a better model. And I would like to open the floor for any questions because we have a wonderful group of people behind me that I think you should hear from that would like to answer your questions as well.
I also have an update from the council member's office.
Oh.
Sorry.
Okay. So you're from?
Councilmember Nadeau.
We have a representative from Councilmember Nadeau's office. And I think you've earned the right to speak.
Hello, everyone. My name's Tom Fazzini. Gotta get close, sorry. My name's Tom Fazzini. I work for the Ward 1 council member, Brianne Nadeau. She represents this area on the DC Council. She's very sorry she couldn't be here. She's actually in a legislative session right now, and she just sent me a message as of about 7 minutes ago. The Sankofa tax abatement did pass on its second and final reading through the council, so we're very excited about that. We are so proud, and the council member is so proud to have a community institution like Sankofa in Ward 1. It's not just a small business, it is really truly a community gathering space, and that's really something that makes Sankofa so unique. Sorry, gotta speak right into it. We also want to thank everyone for their advocacy. This wasn't possible without everyone here. Thank you so much. We look forward to continuing to work with you to make sure the mayor appropriates the funding in her budget. And congratulations, we're just so happy about this.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Would you like to join us, Natalie? Natalie has been doing some wonderful research on the actual impact of gentrification throughout the city, the loss of businesses, and also how it connects to redlining. So we're happy to have her on board as well. I think that we should hear some, just short statements by people who have been doing something on this issue. Should we start with Natalie and then come around?
Why don't we start with those and I'll
The
go.
question over there. Question.
Yes.
Black-owned businesses are getting kicked off one by one around the city. Efforts like yours serve as a model of how you attack the problem. But one by one, attacking the problem is not going to help. What do you think, your thoughts on how do we come together to get protections for black businesses in our community so we're not picked off one by one?
The question, thank you very much, brother. The question is, while Sankofa is a model for what can be done to fight back to protect black businesses, clearly it's not a model that's going to work for every black business. And what can we do to make sure that we do that, find a way to protect black businesses? We're here to announce today that 1 month from today, at 6 p.m., August 9th, here at Sankofa, we'll hold a town meeting. And the purpose of that town meeting is for small black businesses to come and articulate what their challenges are. What are the challenges to their business, staying in business, having a future in DC? And invited to that are community people as well as black businesses and other concerns, community activists that have taken on this question. So we can begin to not only hear people who haven't had a place to speak, but begin to remedy, find ways of doing exactly what you said.
I want to say, first of all, I want to commend everybody up here because there's a lot of people up here doing work on this very issue that you speak on, whether it's businesses or housing in general, throughout all 8 wards, and particularly Ward 1, Ward 5, Ward 6, 7, and 8, where African Americans are being displaced at alarming rates. But a lot of people saw the Don't Mute DC piece, right? But before Don had called me, and I called Natalie, Tony Lewis, and some other people like Camone and everybody came together, we were meeting about just what you said, about how black businesses were being attacked throughout this city. Whether it's the businesses that had been moved on U Street, and everybody said Sinclair was crazy when he had the gorilla stomping the black businesses. Everybody made him out to be the villain when he was talking about it back then. Y'all remember that, right? People who've been around know about it. We got crushed because we didn't stand with people who was fighting against it back then. But the VIP room up on 4th Street, and their businesses, the new business, DC Soul Food at the Marineburgs. I go on and on about businesses that are being attacked. And what they do is, they don't just attack us economically. They get on these social media platforms that we can't see, and they attack black businesses, and they try to push us out. So one of the things is, what the sister talked about, us coming together as one with black businesses and friends of black businesses. Because there are a lot of people who love black culture and want to protect it. But our thing is, how do we come together as one, but address this and get support? Not just a tax abatement, but developers get all type of abatements and money all the time, right? And you have businesses who have skin in the game and have invested in this city when nobody wanted to be here. And our thing is, how do we empower and make sure the city invests in those businesses? And last but not least, the young people. We have more youthful entrepreneurs than we've had in some time. But they cannot afford the brick and mortar that it costs to open a business in this city. So what we have to do is make sure we have subsidies that are set up with development that makes it so these young people can open businesses and afford to be in those businesses. So those are some of the things that we're fighting for, and with legislation that we're going to push for in the next fiscal year that can impact everybody. And this sister knows it's not just about her business, because Martin Luther King said it best. An injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere, and we know this. So we trying to adjust this in all the wards where people of color are, including our Latino brothers and sisters, and Adams Morgan and Columbia Heights, who's also being pushed out.
Elsewhere, DC Black. Elsewhere, DC Black Business Task Force. Just to follow up on what Mr. Moulton is saying, that is retail business. There's another aspect to this particular problem, which is government contracting. We don't know whether or not black businesses are actually getting their due, fair due here or not, because we don't have the data. One way to attack it is to have the government actually do a disparity study. The disparity study will speak for itself. I don't have to get up here and jump up and down and say what they're not doing or what they are doing. The study will actually show it. DC has never done one, so we don't know how bad off black businesses really are when it comes to government contracts till we have this study done. It affects poverty. Poverty is what we're trying to stop, especially in our community. Why is it that our communities don't look like everybody else's community? I say it's because black business is not getting their fair share, or whether it's retail or with government contracts.
I just want to say that we have to actually start changing ourselves. What I mean by that, when Mother Sister talked about their efforts to get a tax abatement, I said, okay, well, we got to do something to save Sankofa. And she's like, no, boo-boo, we ain't got to save Sankofa. Sankofa is fine. You know, we need to defend Sankofa. Save Sankofa is like, oh, there's some damsel in distress and please help me. Defend Sankofa is like knuckle up, it's on. You know, totally different mindset. The greatest power is convincing people that they don't have any. That's Alice Walker, okay? So we gotta first change our mindset. We're not victims here, okay? As she said before, we built this city. We should claim it, okay? We should claim it. Unfortunately, we still have to fight for it. We still have to fight for it. So now we gotta involve ourselves with the policies that has been, up until this point, shaping our lives. Now we have to begin to shape those policies ourselves. Gil Scott-Heron said that change is inevitable. But rather than simply continue to go through the change, we are here to direct the change. That's what this is about, okay? The government officials will have you believe that gentrification is natural. This is what they have said. As if it's rain and storm clouds, as if to say there's nothing you can do. There's always something you can do. And we have to get it done ourselves. We have to begin to make our own retention plan, our own community-led plans. And some of that is going to require us to educate ourselves on the real options out here. We've been far too long told that your choices are either paper or plastic. When in actuality, we have a recyclable bag, our own bag. And we have to educate ourselves on what goes into this bag. So Papa got a brand new bag. We're going to do things a little bit different. We're putting them on notice. We have a city where Jeff Bezos owns Amazon, owns Washington Post, owns Whole Foods. You know how much taxes they paid last year? 0. So whenever they want to say, well, where the money going to come from, that's a hustle. Every time it's a social service safety net program, now you're concerned about money. But they got, as the illustrious prophet Tupac Amari Shakur would say, they got money for war but can't. You see what I'm saying? So we got to come together. I think August 9th is a fitting time to do that, Black August, and come together and really design our own community-led retention planning. And I think we should start off by acknowledging that property tax is a displacement tax. Because one of the few businesses that do own their buildings, but doesn't matter if you own it or not, because that property tax continues to escalate until you have to relocate.
Obviously, we had caps.
We want, not just, thank you, brother, we want a cap, and I propose that whatever the value you was paying when you obtained that property should be kept at that rate. It should stay that rate. That would be fair. New residents, they will pay the higher one. Old-time residents will pay the lower one. That would be fair. And then lastly, I want to say this, because some of y'all might not know this. The average white household in Washington, D.C. has 81 times the wealth of the average black family in D.C. This cannot be competed with. We need a racial equity right here in D.C., all right? So lastly, I want to say this. On 1, 2, 3, I want everybody to say, stand up and say it. Defend Sankofa. Defend Sankofa. Everyone, please stand with us. On 3, 1, 2. Defend Sankofa. Let's get that done.
Hello, everyone. I'll be brief. My name is Natalie Hopkinson. I'm an assistant professor at Howard University in the Department of Communication, Culture, and Media Studies. And thank you, Shorkiana and the Jarimas, for having us here and really for creating this space. These are the kind of spaces that have allowed us to survive as a people in this very hostile country. So thank you for what you're doing, and thank you to the council for supporting them. So I just want to put a quick plug in for some ongoing research that we're doing at Howard. You know, as Ronald Moten mentioned, we've been having conversations around Black cultural businesses in particular for many months now because we've noticed this pattern of attack on them. And so what we're doing at Howard in our department is we are trying to document this. So to your question about all of the rest of the businesses, that's the same question that we've been having. We would like to create a cultural registry so that we can be able to have the data around all these businesses, as well as we're also creating forums that were sponsored by the Humanities Council to basically be able to talk about some of these issues of communication and cultural divides that are in the city that are intersecting around public spaces like Sankofa, like Metro PCS with Don Campbell is over here. Hey Don, so glad that you're here. Thank you for everything that you've done for the city as well. They're not individual. I mean, they're part of a collective. They're part of the fabric of the Chocolate City, and we'll defend them. And Howard is here to also defend them as well. Thank you.
Thank you. First of all, I want to just take a moment to show appreciation for Shariq for all that she's done and all that she's been through over the past years fighting for her business to remain open. This has been a long fight, and we're here for you. My name is Felicia. I'm with the organization Color of Change. We're the nation's largest online racial justice network, and we are here to support the interests of Black people and help us get free. I made it a mission when I joined Color of Change to join this movement and to help fight for our businesses in DC. I'm a DC native, so this is close to my heart. And I just want Shariq and everyone here to know that Color of Change is here for you, and we're going to work together to make sure that we get these protections for Black businesses throughout the city, the ones that are renting as well as the ones who are being forced out due to property taxes when they own their properties. So we're here, we're in this movement for the long haul until justice is real. Thank you.
It's brief. In late August, Howard will have its incoming freshman class. In the College of Arts and Sciences, the 1,000 or so freshmen we have will be focusing in part on this question of chocolate cities around the country. Part of their research work will be connecting the conversation that we heard my colleague Natalie Hopkinson talk about to their places of origin. So that's not just in the United States, obviously. This is an issue in the Caribbean, an issue in Africa. This question of displacement is a global question. It's a question of global capitalism, finance capital. And so we're hoping that these 18-year-olds with this project, as we develop it, will not only understand how what's happening in DC, which is a unique city, of course, in the settler project we call America, how it connects to where they're from, but they will also then continue in the long-standing connection between students, faculty, and staff at Howard University and this institution, Sankofa. And we'll have some of that conversation right here. So we're going to probably be spilt out all over Georgia Avenue between that building and this building and all over. But these 18-year-olds are going to be recruited into this army. So we're just grateful as Natalie has said, that we are able to be not only in partnership, but in family and community with not just an institution and not just a people, but with a cause that speaks to the central character and the fundamental humanity of anyone who is standing for rights. So we want to thank you all.
Just before, give me a couple more. She mentioned the town hall meeting.
August 9th. Yes.
August 9th. We need to really, as Morton said, that's part of how we come together. But not only do we just want to have people just come in though, and just talk. We need them to either come in with a video, a written testimony, something that we can record and have to take to people to show them what type of discord or what kind of problems that we think we have in our community. I just wanted to make sure we understand.
Thank you so much to everybody who's agreed to come to the fore to make this happen. The group you see here today is loosely knit. It is not an organization. These are people that were called together because of their relationship to this issue. It is in no way representative of what's going on in DC. We look forward to more of you joining us. Again, that date is August 9th, 6:30 here at Sankofa. And it will be the beginning of a series. Clearly, things are not going to be solved in that one session. A sign-up sheet is going around. If you would like to be a part of that, please sign it. If you are press, it says press sign-in, but anybody that wants to can sign in with their name and email address. If you're press, please put press next to your name so that we can send press releases to you, and even a press release for today if you have not received one. So thank you so much again, and that's the end of the press conference.